Okay, this is lesson 13 for Algebra 2, Factoring Trinomials. This is going to be an extension from yesterday, which is we talk about Xbox again, and we're going to be doing factoring trinomials that are a smidget harder, but we're using the same steps as yesterday. So these are the steps from yesterday. So if you want to write them down again, you can, but you don't have to in my class. So you have the Xbox here. Remember, we have A and A here. Top center is A times C. Middle, bottom is B, and then we're looking for factors that add up to A times C, or multiply it to A times C, add up to B on these two sections. Okay? You could pause the video here if you need to stop. Otherwise, I'm moving on. Numbers 1 and 2, pencils down, you're watching right now. Okay. Number 1, factor completely. We have 5x squared plus 18x minus 8. Okay, so on this particular one, I'm asking myself first, is there a GCF on number 1? There isn't, okay? So we just try to factor now. Sometimes you can't factor, but we're going to try to factor. So no GCF. So now we're going to do X box. We know that A is equal to 1. B is equal to positive 18. And C is equal to negative 8. Okay? So we got our A, B, C, because it's a quadratic form. Since it's quadratic, we could apply X box. So we got... Oh, it's supposed to be 5. I'm sorry. I'm going too fast here. My bad. I don't know why I'm going so fast. A is 5. Thank you. Sorry about that. So we got 5 and 5. Okay? For A, thank you. 5, and then A times C is negative 40 on the top center. And then the bottom is B is 18. Okay? So we're asking ourselves what times what is equal to negative 40, but it's going to add up to positive 18. So we start off with positive 1. Okay, we're going to do all the factors. I want you to do this anyways. Do all the factors because we want to figure out what adds up to everything. So positive 1 times negative 40, positive 2 times negative 20, positive 4 times negative 10, positive 5 times negative 8, positive 8 times negative 5, positive 10 times negative 4, positive 20 times negative 2. Which ones of these adds up to negative 18, or positive 18? Well, it's just this last one. Positive 20 minus 2 is equal to positive 18, right? All these other ones, if you add them up, they don't work, so you don't want to really use any of these other ones, okay? So, you got positive 20 and negative 8, or negative 2. Box these up. Now yesterday we weren't able to simplify these fractions. Today we will be able to. So this first fraction, what goes into both 5 and 20? 5 does, right? So we got 1 over 4 here, right? Does that make sense? So now we simplified it. Did you notice that? Okay. Next one, 5 over negative 2, we can't simplify. So these are now my factors that are, or the coefficients for my factors. So we got 1x plus 4, or just x plus 4 in my answer. And next one is 5x minus 2. And that's it. Okay, and that's your answer. And you could double check it if you want. You can multiply it out. Let's just do this one quickly in our heads. X times x is 5x squared, right? That works. X times negative 2 is negative 2x. 4 times 5x is 20x. So 20 minus 2 is 18x. Right? And then 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. Okay? So if we were to multiply this, we know we did it correctly. Does that make sense? Yeah. You could multiply it out. I'm not requiring you to, but you should always check your work if you can. Or if you're uncomfortable with something, check it. Just to make sure you got it correct. Okay, so let me talk about number 1 one more time. What did I just do? Again, I figured out what my A, B, and C are, and my A was actually supposed to be 5. Sorry about that. Okay. So I wrote A and A, X box. A times C is negative 40, B is 18, so I'm figuring out what my factors are of negative 40 that add up to 18. So I am writing the whole list out. Now, you could do this far in your head when you get good at it, but I still want you to write the list because I want you to go through it, because you will get frustrated. Some of them will be more difficult than others. The only one that worked was 20 and negative 2. So we wrote that, boxed my two fractions, simplified 5 over 20, and then wrote my factors out. X plus 4 times 5x minus 2. Those are the factored form. Okay, that's the broken apart way. Does that make sense so far? Watch me do number 2 now. Number 2. Number 2, we have 36b squared minus 12b minus 8. First thing I'm doing is I'm checking for a GCF. Is there a GCF on number 2? Yeah, we could take out a 4, right? Because if we had take out a 4, we got 9b squared minus 3b minus 2. Okay? And so now we know that our a is actually supposed to be 9, b is equal to negative 3, c is equal to negative 2. Okay? Using our x box now. Got 9 and 9. We got a times c is negative 18. B is negative 3. Okay? So figuring out what are the factors that multiply the 18, or negative 18 but add up to negative 3, well we got 1, positive 1 times negative 18, positive 2 times negative 9, positive 3 times negative 6, positive 6 times negative 3, positive 9 times negative 2, and positive 18 times negative 1, right? Which ones of these add up to negative 3? Well, it's going to be positive 3, negative 6, these two, right? Would you all agree? Okay, so we got 3, positive 3, negative 6. Box these both up, and then I'm asking myself, can I simplify these fractions? Yeah, 3 goes into each of these. You got 3 over positive 1. That's my first fraction. The second fraction is going to be 3 over negative 2. Okay, these are now my true factors, or the coefficients of my factors. So I'm going to bring down my GCF. Remember the original 4. We don't want to forget that original GCF. Then we got 3x, I'm sorry, what's the letter? 3b plus 1. And then we have 3b minus 2. And that's it. Okay? And we're all done. So I'm going to box my answer. Nothing else I could factor, so we're all done. All right? So this is a lot easier. I show you this tool. I've used all the other ones myself. You know, making a square chart. I've used the X factor, which is a little different than this. It's a variation of this. And this one, and I've done the whole like manual writing all the numbers out. That's long. I think this is the easiest way and the most. Once students get this, they're like really good at it. Okay. So and it's very easy to use. Any questions? Okay, cool. So today I want the 2's. Tell the 1's first about number 1, and then 1's tell the 2's about number 2. Ready? All right, continuing on here. Number 3. So we got 3p squared minus 29 plus 56. Okay, so this one's going to be a little bit harder, right? So first thing we want to do is there a GCF? Yes or no? Okay, so let's do this one together. So there's no GCF, so we got 3 times 56, or I'm sorry, I'm going a little too fast here. A is equal to 3, B is equal to negative 29, and C is equal to 56. Okay? Next thing we're going to do is we're figuring out our X box, so we're going to write this out. So follow along with me on yours. You can do it on your paper if you like. A is 3. A times C, what's 3 times 56?
168.
168, good. 168, correct, okay. And then B is negative 29. Now, let's think about this before we start writing factors, okay? We need to figure out what's going to multiply to be positive, but it's going to add up to be negative. So, am I going to deal with positive numbers or negative numbers?
Negative numbers.
Only negative, right? Does that make sense? Okay, so this is where it gets a little more difficult. We're going to figure out what our list is going to be. So we got negative 1 times negative 168, negative 2 times negative 84, and so forth. So make your lists. Okay. Does 3 go into it?
Yes.
168 divided by 3 is? Yes or no? I don't know. No. Okay. 4. 168 divided by 4. 42.
Well, 3.
Okay. Okay, but we're still going. And then you're going to notice what's our true factors? we need them to add up to negative 29. What about 5? Does 5 go into it? 6?
6 does. 6 and 28.
But what's negative 6 plus 28? Does that equal to 29? What about 7? What does 7 do? What?
24 and 7.
Okay, good. What about 8? Negative 8 and? Negative 21. Right? Okay, good. There are the two numbers. What's negative 8 minus 21?
29.
Negative 29. Okay, so sometimes it's going to be hard like this. You're going to have to make a huge list if it's not on the top of your head. And then let's go write these factors down. Negative 8 and negative 21. Let's box each fraction. Let's look at the first fraction. 3 over negative 8. Can we simplify that one? Yes or no? No, we can't. That's it. What about 3 and negative 21? What goes into both of those? 3, right? So it's going to be 1 over negative 7. Do y'all agree?
Yes.
Good. So now we're going to write down our factors. We got 3. We're using p as our variable. 3p minus 8 times p minus 7. Okay? And that's it. We're all done. Yeah, it's a lot easier, right? So if you have a big one like this one, you should be using Xbox. It's a lot easier, okay? Let's have you do number 4. Number 4, let's start off together. What is the GCF? Is there a GCF? What's the GCF? 5. Okay, good. So we got 5. Let's factor out a 5 first. We got 5 times 9m squared plus 27m plus 8. Okay? Ready? Set. Go. Okay, so on this example, you have 5 times 3m. Well, actually, I'll do the Xbox for you. On this one, in case you're on the video or you made a mistake in class, look up here, please. So, A is 9. A times C is 72. B is 27. So this is nice. Everything's positive. I only deal with positive factors. You can notice the factors would be 24 times 3, right? So on the first one, we know 3 goes into each of these, so it's going to be 3 over 8. The second one is going to be 3 over 1. So we write our original GCF down. We got 3m plus 8 times 3m plus 1. That's it. We're all done here. Okay, I'm going to stop the lesson there.